This is a video on the CRPF Battalion Intelligence Headquarters configuration. I'll attempt to explain my concept of tactical incapability for the CRPF. I'll be zooming on certain elements or portion of the page of this app, and I'll explain how operations and intelligence, or the concept of operations, can lead to the situational awareness of the commander, or which in this logo which I've created, military awareness, tactical intelligence driven, army commanders awareness, tactical int driven, configured for the Central Reserve Police Force. Only few int collection assets from the menu below will be configured for limited battle space acquired where CRPF warfighters are active. Which menu? We go down menu below, the menu is here. This is the collection assets menu, which depicts the organic int assets I have created for the army. From here, I'll take a portion for the CRPF. What do I have here? I have a dedicated MI brigade, which has its own operations battalion. The operations battalion has a MI battalion. There's an aerial exploitation battalion, forward collection battalion, counter int and human, which has a sub brigade. Which has a MI brigade 2 assets attached to it. Forward collection battalion second, MI brigade 3 attached to it. Communications battalion, electronics battalion. But I won't read out all because I'll only explain the CRPF components which I will draw from this menu which I created for the army. All these are organic int collection assets. From here, I'll take this one, Tactical Exploitation Battalion. This I'll take for the CRPF, the MI company for the CRPF, the headquarters section, the MI unit counter int, MI unit interrogation and exploitation, MI unit collection and exploitation, tactical human team, multidimensional reconnaissance team, unit IR platoon, mobile interrogation team. Int enabled SOF, here it will be Cobra, the Cobra teams. So int enabled Cobra and the reconnaissance surveillance teams, and int enabled teams for secondary collectors. Military source operations and tactical questioning for community public operations, screening. Remaining part I will not touch, they are meant for the army. Before I dwell on these intelligence ones, I'll go back to the starting. Here, certain points I'll focus on. What is the CRPF Mission Command Tactical Strategy? Mission Command is actually centralized command with decentralized execution of operations, with every subordinate commander taking disciplined initiative. By the term disciplined initiative means the subordinate commander will have the freedom of action to take whatever, which I should say it's mission type tactics. But his freedom of action will have one constraint, and that is to keep in perspective the overall commander's intent and priority int requirements and operations requirements. Keeping that in perspective, the subordinate commanders, company commanders or battalion commanders, they have full freedom of action. This is decentralized execution of operations, decentralized command, which is a mission command which the CRPF should follow. In this year, we have a tactical strategy, which is Take over from outgoing unit and review and operations and threat non-kinetic cultural data battle handoff. This was what happened in Uri. Uri में यही हुआ था. Uri में क्या हुआ था? They didn't have their own battalion and officer. Now, since they didn't have they didn't have an organic ent unit, and they didn't have a complete organic battalion ent section. So what happened? They did not have with them the threat assessment reports. They did not have with them the threat situation and the situation report, everything. उनके पास होगा. They had some information on the terrorist activity, but nothing was in the form of databases or complete end reports and end summaries and end estimates. So that what happened, since there was no battalion, organic battalion end section, the absence of the battalion end staff officer, and since the absence of this officer, he could not hand over all these estimates and end reports to incoming battalion. Had he given that, which is called battle handoff, तो जो यूनिट आ रहा था डिप्लॉयमेंट के लिए, they would have been better prepared and not like sitting duck for the terrorist attack. So one is take over from outgoing unit and review end ops and threat non-kinetic cultural data battle handoff. Second, confirm what we think we know. Confirm what we think we know. What we think is something else. What we know is something else. So okay, we think we think about this thing. Let's confirm it. That our postulates, our hypotheses are correct. For that, we need organic ent units. Assess local data, threat, own vulnerability, compare with battle handoff information. Now, battle handoff, the information given to the incoming unit by the outgoing unit, उसके साथ कंपेयर करना चाहिए कि मेरा जो इनकमिंग यूनिट है उसकी वल्नरेबिलिटी कैसा है, so that I may be able to avoid the threat and its actions. I must assess the local data given to me by the ent officer of the outgoing unit. Unfortunately, we don't have organic ent units. That is what I told the Kolkata IGP, Mr. P.K. Singh IPS, why it is important to have your own organic ent unit. You'll be having records with you, which you can pass on to the unit which comes to take your place. The नया unit जो आ रहा है to get deployed. Because one unit goes away, one comes in. The unit which comes in, it takes time to get habituated to the environment. If you have records with you, the threat records with you, then this time will not be, this will, there will be, ऐसा समय नष्ट नहीं होगा. They will be able to move in immediately and get operations immediately. Report changes, the organic ent unit. Identify ent requirements and prioritize them. State the commander's intent. Conduct population-centric and area study and life pattern ent platoons embedded in patrols task. All the patrols going into community areas every day जो जाते हैं, उनमें we embed ent platoons, the organic ent platoons, and they can conduct population-centric and area study and life pattern studies. Answer the ent requirements of the commander. And these can be done by the tasked ent platoons. Identify potential targets. Nominate a white, grey, blacklist. White, the people who are in danger by the insurgents, who are good, who are very powerful and good source of information for us. The grey personalities, the black personalities. The black are the threat personalities, and the grey, the ones who are in collusion with the threat, who are abetting the insurgents. Develop target packs, a very important, very, very important step. In fact, the objective of any unit is to develop target packs and confirm the target packs. Then comes the course of action selection. ये बहुत पहले आता है course acceleration. This numbering is not in order. I'm just giving examples. Execute kinetic, non-kinetic operations. Kinetic are killing operations, non-kinetic are psychological and community operations and prosecution operations. Integrate police, EW, high headquarters, command control. Sorry, G2. My chashma is not there, sorry. Integrate police, electronic warfare, high headquarters, G2, the staff officer. 13. Assess success and collateral damage plus second, third order effects. In counterinsurgency, we have the direct effect, then we have the collateral damage, we have second and third order effects which often go ignored. What is the effect on the area of interest? What is the effect on an area far away of the operation over here? These things are important to consider because कभी और कोई area में there can be budding insurgency. This might facilitate or at a detriment to that insurgency. The second, third order effects we ought to know. Plus one more thing, intelligence projection, my concept, it is my own concept. While I'm handling my own area of operations, two of my platoons will move into another area, adjoining area, which is not undergoing any operations, and keep a tab over there. Supposing the area commander tells me, okay, now you stop operation in this area and move into the new area, and take that and in a new area and move into operations there, then I'll be having information beforehand on the end situation in that area. So this is called end projection. My end teams will also move into areas not undergoing any operation and keep a tab over there on the budding insurgency and try to find information क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं हो रहा है, so that if I move to that area for operations, I'm prepared with information in my hands about the enemy situation over there, about overall the civilian situation over there. इसे कहते हैं end projection against force projection. The Americans go for force projection and I'm advocating end projection. After action review, change in requirements after int collected while executing ops. Whenever operations are conducted, int requirements change. The operations in dynamic. I had asked the Kolkata IGP about this thing, and he said that yes, the CRPF does have int and ops integrated. I was surprised because there's no organic int unit. So how can you integrate IB and source information intelligence with operations of CRPF unit? Unless you don't have your own organic int unit, how can you integrate ops and int? And they have to be a part of each other. Unfortunately, the army also have seen they are separate. Int is always a discipline to support the operations. Int is never considered to be a part of the operations. Int and operation dynamic is always ignored. If I have int with me, if intelligence, instead of leading operation, it drives the operation like an engine in a car, then from that int, दो operation हम जो करते हैं उससे और भी int आता है. We might get documents, we might get floppies, we can get prisoners, we exploit them, get more intelligence, and then more operations, again intelligence, again operations, it's continuing. Intelligence drives operations. The operation staff officers should understand int perfectly. And the end guy should understand operations perfectly. दोनों में there will be a complete synchronization. The ops guy will know that what assets he has in his hand, the end officer. So how much of my operations के लिए मैं कितना end कर पाऊंगा using end officer. And the end officer he knows what operations are to be conducted, how are they to be conducted, and he will know where to pre-position his assets to collect information for the ops officer. Int and ops need to be integrated, and unfortunately, in 80% of the countries, this is ignored. The most important concept in modern warfare. And the IGP Kolkata told me that this is not there. They have it. They cannot have it. How can they have it? The CRPF does not have its own organic int unit. You cannot integrate information from the IB and from external sources with the operations of a unit. It's impossible. Next, we come to the new commander's intent. The commander's intent, the driving force from A to Z, the most important concept, the most important, I should say, verbal and written force which drives the entire operations down to the final victory is the commander's intent. And that is a product of this commander's situation awareness. And the commander's situation awareness, you need intelligence again. So end शुरुआत में, end में, end बीच में. You have to eat intelligence, you have to drink intelligence, you have to sleep intelligence, if you have to be successful in all operations and reach the decisive operation. Now, that's my continuous running tactical end ops for CRPF. Company level end capability, coin enduring effects. Number one, deter the insurgent activity through lowering their probability of success and increasing the risk of death or capture. 2. Disrupt insurgent activity by dominating the operating space and constraining their freedom of action. 3. Detain positively identified insurgents wherever possible. And 4. Develop targets by acquiring more intent end for sustained operations either by us or other agencies. This last point, develop targets by acquiring more end for subsequent operations. Again, that end operations dynamic, which I was saying, the end drives operations, operations lead to intelligence, again end drive operations, a continuous process. The battle should go on and on, should not stop. The insurgents, the pressure should be built upon them. It should be harassing operations, not killing operations, harass them. Harass them to the extent that they are always on the run. You're there to root out insurgency. You're not there to run a protracted war, a very, very long, unending war. No. That consumes time, resources, kills our personnel. It's a useless endeavor. We need ent. We need organic ent. So I'll ask you, my most respected officers, to go through this page. It's very important. To these ends, I've created battalion level organic int, company level intersections, force protection detachments, very, very important. I've addressed force protection as a separate doctrine. I've written the manual also. The manual is in the website as well as the CRPF website. If you open the CRPF website, it's there. The force protection is totally dedicated to avoid Uri and Dantewada. But that will come later. Human exploitation teams using friendly elicitation and non-aggressive tactical questioning techniques. Yahi tactical questioning techniques I have taught the Kashmir unit. From the room of my home, I've created and controlled a paramilitary unit in Kashmir. I've created a virtual platoon rather. When they're deployed on the Kashmir roads, I help them to use the techniques. तो मैंने ये सब कर लिया मेरे रूम में बैठ के. If I can do that from my room, then give me a field area. I'll in 4 months' time, I'll give you a fantastic army unit for the CRPF. That's what I've been saying from day one. Then there's target nomination teams, document exploitation and capture exploitation teams, enable combat RNS teams, topographical teams, PsyOps teams, MI battalion, collection and exploitation company, human company, and counter company. इसको छोड़ के, if you go through this discussion I had in the chat, so you understand the importance of organic and capability. The collection assets here are meant for the army. I had totally devised an MI brigade, a separate MI battalion, exploitation and interrogation and collection. From here I'll take few of them for the CRPF. And then there is a structured, integrated environment I have created. Structured, integrated environment. I'm giving a structure to CRPF. I'll give CRPF a total army structure, an army int unit. Be structured. You have a communication net, a command control net. It will have tactical operation centers using only 4 or 5 computers and two vehicles. It will have a forward operating base. A forward operating base is not a CRPF debt, which IGP Kolkata told me. A debt is different, and FOB is different. FOB is something which I said in my chat conversation with IG Int Anshuman Yadav. It's just in time, not just in case. Just in case we are ambushed is very different from just in time when we are ambushed. A forward operating base is logistics combined with force projection, combined with intelligence projection, combined with intervention troops in case of emergency, and combined with air fire support. All of them having tactical LIASO teams to help in case of emergency, to help in case of evacuation, to help in case of operations. Then I have done this brigade int server here. This int server I have created. It's a simple thing, simple computer at the battalion int headquarter level, the TOC land ground level, the ground level cloud storage intermediate. All these are simple computers. You give me 4 or 5 computers at company level, at battalion level. I'll just create a complete architecture for you using computers so that information can be pushed, stored, retrieved, and requests for information can be executed. So this thing, what I'm doing is int ops integrated. I've created a new staff element, OISO, operations and int staff officer, to assist both the staff officer int, the staff officer ops. ये मेरा अपना खुद का creation है. And then we have the company int capability field manual. This is a field manual. If I click on it, see, if you click over here, it opens. The company int capability, this is a field manual. ये पूरा हमने लिखा हुआ है. This entire book I've written, the entire field manual on human collection. For coin, for counterinsurgency, it takes into account everything. Here is the battalion int map. Here is a platoon. The battalion int officer S2. In the army is a major, like a CRPF would carry an inspector. The ops, planning, then ISR tasking, intra-company liaison officer. Ops में है the electronic warfare, PSYOPs, HUMINT, 3-4 soldiers team, loudspeakers, man-packed vehicle mounted EW sections. And here we have topographic survey section, reconnaissance platoon, and we have the inter-company LO. This is a simple basic structure I had created, the RSI information ops model for COIN. This book contains in detail the entire collection strategy. Here is the battalion level int platoon comprising of company level int units. Here you can see the battalion int section support the battalion headquarters. Then the battalion level int platoon. Here are the company level int cells which go for collections. And each cell is in charge. There's a SIGINT element, there's a collection element. 3 into human, 1 CI. ये था army के लिए. For CRPF, I'll use standard CRPF personnel. So this is one diagram. Then again we come down to the pushing down int capability brigade level. So this book contains in detail everything what you want to know. But this manual is meant for the army. It's detailed human collection manual. But from here I will teach the soldiers for the CRPF. I'll go back. This was a force protection field manual. I wrote this completely with in my mind the current crisis in India, the force protection crisis in India, and how that can be solved using the organic in platoons and counterintelligence. And this is something which has been ignored like very badly in India, very badly. Pulwama, you're having Dante Awada, and all these we had, one after the another, and it was never addressed. In this manual, it is the first of its kind I wrote in India on force protection. Because if you lose one soldier or one asset of the force, we are losing one unit capability of attack or defense, and we should have this mindset. You should not think that 25-30 aadmi marega gone, it's gone. 50 men gone, it's gone. No. We are losing units of capability of attack and defense. because we must have a 360 degrees force protection so that we have a complete 360 degrees attack and defense capability, which we should say the competitive edge over the enemy. We cannot afford to lose one soldier also. So I wrote the FP doctrine totally separately for the Army and the CRPF. This app, I request you go through it. Here's the human field manual. I wrote the Pulwama Commission inquiry myself. This commission inquiry हमने खुद लिखा है. And this it portrays my knowledge on intelligence. And mind you, I wrote this totally based on information from newspapers and TV. My thoughts, my findings, my recommendations. I think the respected DGP should go through it. My point is here only one thing, that I want to do something for my country. The Sipahi room, here's the Sipahi room. This is Sipahi room. I created this so that the soldiers can move in. Here I'm logging in. I log in, say with my administration, this thing. I'll log in here. Here I go in. This is Sipahi room. Similarly, there's a headquarters also created. I'll log in here. I'll show you something which, sir, you understand what I've done for the army and for this, what amount of effort I've given in 14 years for this country. 478312. 478312. Here, logged in. This is the Sipahi room. As you can see, I've given everything: classes, army and school, command structure, counterintelligence, headquarters, ops, OSIN, operationalizing intelligence, example case studies, counterint, communications, collection management, battalion section, area operation Kashmir, multi-dimensional reconnaissance, operations, project, recruitment, study manuals, support to human, tactical questioning, DocX, CE, RNS, battle damage assessment, and this thing, threat assessment, tasking. No, TA is target acquisition, targeting the threat, the TOS network company level, the training, unit organization first in platoon. This is a basic platoon. Here's a basic platoon. Here, I go to the basic platoon. Here's a basic platoon. I open it here. I have to update this. I'll add the information in a day. So this is a complete system for the soldier to interact, to learn, to study, to interact with officers and his subordinates. There's a chat over here. There is a complete combination system inside this portal. So, similarly, I've created up to brigade level different portals so that they can all interact. This is the Alpha Battalion first in platoon web portal for headquarters, training, cells, taskings, online studies, and examination. मेरा main objectives are protect our forces, shape the battle space, gain information dominance. Integrated intelligence and counter structure from strategic to tactical levels, organized, trained, and equipped to give maximum flexibility during conflict. My point here, my most respected officers, is I want to give your CRPF a total army unit, army structure, army capability. My credentials abroad from America and all those, whatever I have there, teaching American soldiers and the Greek people as security personnel, that is something, a long history. The IGP Kolkata wanted to know about it. That is something for 10 years I've been doing. That is how I've expanded my knowledge. I don't want to bring that into the scene right now. My main point is I'm capable to give the CRPF a military edge. I'm capable of giving the CRPF the respect at par with the army soldier, because the CRPF is involved in more and more battles in the army and they're dying every single day. They ought to get the respect the army gets. I'll give it to them. 4 months' time, sir. just 4 months' time. That's why I made all the apps. I gave it to the IG int Anshuman Yadav. Please go through my apps. I've designed the mobile apps to be installed so that you can study them at your leisure. Please, it's high time. We need something to act, move fast. Please take a fast decision and give me the power to operate a unit, open and operate a unit for CRPF, sir. Jai Hind, sir.